nobody gonna keep us down, keep us down.
The world awaits the first ever Ultimate Championship.
Let's go, baby!
And a home crowd roaring them on.
The world's best athletes brought together to settle the debate once and for all.
The Ultimate Championship, there's no room for mistakes.
To be Ultimate Champion, that sounds pretty good to me.
This is the greatest we have ever seen.
Call yourself a world champion, prove that you're the ultimate.
A brand new must-see championship.
There can only be one Ultimate Champion.
What on earth is going on in Budapest?
And the whole world is watching.
See you in Budapest.
Don't miss it.
Just like that, a star is born.
Ain't nobody gonna keep us down, keep us down.
The world awaits the first ever Ultimate Championship.
Let's go, baby!
And a home crowd roaring them on.
The world's best athletes brought together to settle the debate once and for all.
The Ultimate Championship, there's no room for mistakes.
To be Ultimate Champion, that sounds pretty good to me.
This is the greatest we have ever seen.
Call yourself a world champion, prove that you're the ultimate.
A brand new must-see championship.
There can only be one Ultimate Champion.
What on earth is going on in Budapest?
And the whole world is watching.
See you in Budapest.
Don't miss it.
Just like that, a star is born.
Ain't nobody gonna keep us down, keep us down.
The world awaits the first ever Ultimate Championship.
Let's go, baby!
And a home crowd roaring them on.
The world's best athletes brought together to settle the debate once and for all.
The Ultimate Championship, there's no room for mistakes.
To be Ultimate Champion, that sounds pretty good to me.
This is the great.
Good day to you and welcome to the National Stadium in Tokyo for this third stop of the World Athletics Gold Meeting Series. After gatherings in Melbourne in March and Nairobi 3 weeks ago, we're expecting fine weather and a relatively user-friendly 28-29 degrees in the Japanese capital. This glorious facility, which has already hosted the Olympics in 21 and the World Athletics Championships just last September, replaced the old Olympic Stadium taken down in 2015, but this is almost 50% larger in capacity at 67,000. As you can see, 27 degrees centigrade in the stadium at the moment. Top athletes gathered here. Well, they include Noel Lyles, the Olympic 100 metres champion and home favourite, the women's javelin Olympic champion from Paris 2 years ago and a world champion in Budapest, Haruka Kitaguchi. Lots of athletics coming to us, as you could see, and straight away with myself, Tim Hutchings here, and Rosie Tingarden in the box seat. We go to the track for the men's 400 metres.
We absolutely do. This is the first of our two 400-metre heats, and you can see a full Japanese lineup starting this race. On the outside, we've got Irizuki Shirahata in 8, Morita in 7, Tanabe in 6, Kanoshita in 5, Yoshikawa in 4, Horiakawa in 3, Matsuoka in 2, and Obichi in 1. So the race has got underway. And it's a good crowd in the National Stadium today, and they'll be enjoying seeing a strong national field and a strong opening 200 from Shiranata on the outside in lane 8. Irizuki to chase through that opening 200, and now we'll see the stagger begin to level out as we open up into the home straight. It's a relatively even field, and keep an eye on the inside of Ichi, moving strongly now, and Ryota starting to fade slightly. Irazuki coming through, and Irazuki's going to take it in the opening race of the day. 45.71. And that'll be a lovely season's best and personal best. 46.26, his previous best, so a good start to his outdoor season.
Well, that could hardly have been tighter, could it? Look at that coming off the bend. There's 5 or 6 men there, almost abreast. But what a late run it was from Sensuke Irazuki on the outside there, working really hard, holds his form well. The others all decelerating, wins it by half a metre. No chance for the others to respond there. And he's absolutely delighted with that. Unusual, a winner from lane 9, leaving it late and coming through over the last 20 metres. But yeah, great run from him. And both he and Shirahata in second, going under 46 seconds.
Yeah, he'll be definitely very, very pleased with that. It was a strong run, actually, Tim. He didn't panic in that opening 200 metres. He started to kind of lose a bit of ground in those first few strides. And that first half of the race, it looked like he might just fade backwards, but he held his form and really started to push on and slingshotted round that final bend into the home straight, and it paid off brilliantly.
Well, that race was actually a few minutes ago, almost a warm-up, really, a domestic field. This is more like the real deal, Rosie.
It absolutely is. We've got a few big names in here. So starting on the outside then, Sato of Japan in lane number 9. We were expecting to see Reese Holder of Australia, but unfortunately we've been told that he's injured, so no Holder today. Nakajima of Japan is due to compete, though, as is Rai Benjamin, and what a brilliant performer he is over the 400 metres, and the 4 hurdles especially. That's where we've seen such dominance and such fantastic competition between himself and Warholm, and there he is, Rai Benjamin, who goes in lane 6. I have Vernon Norwood as well, going in lane 5, but here's the full lineup then. So Sato starts on the outside. And again, Kentaro Sato in lane number 8. So he was initially due to be in lane 1. There's been a bit of a reshuffle due to the absence of Holder. Nakajima then in 7. And Rai Benjamin looking quietly confident and pretty focused in lane number 6. Vernon Norwood, the 4 times world champion over the relay, goes in lane 5. Samuel Konga, the 23-year-old, looking very pleased to get his campaign underway today in lane 4. And Hayashi of Japan goes in 3. Taku Yoshihu on the inside then in lane number 2. So this is our second 400-metre heat of the day. And this is where the proper competition really kicks off. So eyes on lanes 5 and 6. Vernon Norwood and Rai Benjamin, 2 of the big hitters in this one-lap race. Well, another clean start and nothing to worry about for these athletes. Rai Benjamin perhaps looking, just taking a second to get into his running. Vernon Norwood left behind slightly, but as we saw in the previous heat, that can change so much. And Satao on the outside, really attacking this opening 250 metres. He's opened up a bit of a gap. Rai Benjamin, on the other hand, looking relaxed, opening up that stride. Norwood has closed that gap that he lost earlier on in those opening stages. Eyes on Yoshizu as well. He's pumping hard now, and Samu Konga moving well, but it's all about Rai Benjamin, who looks very relaxed and just trots over the line. 44.7. That's a good season opener for the world champion.
Brilliant season opener from Rai Benjamin. Yes, always looked very in control and untroubled, didn't he? Have to remember he's a 44-2 performer. He's from the absolute top echelon. And what a contrast there was between him and the flailing, desperate style of the Zambian Samu Konga in lane 4. Was covering the ground well, Samu Konga. He was a close second, waiting for that result to be confirmed. But Rai Benjamin, well, he had a good lane draw, Rosie, lane 6. Had a good view of those outside him. You're right in that Sato of Japan blasted off by far around the fastest first 250. There he is to the left of picture. Great running too in lane 3 from Shinya Hayashi, the 22-year-old Japanese. 45.6 his personal best. He wouldn't have been far off that, although he faded there as Benjamin. And 2 lanes to his left. Samu Konga came through strongly. But yeah, a nice controlled run there from Rai Benjamin. A good way to kick off his season, as you say.
Yeah, he didn't look too phased. He was just happy to take that off, get it done. And it's been rounded down, 44.69 in the end. So a good day at the office for Rai Benjamin, who can go and get himself cooled down as we move further towards some longer distance on the track in a few moments' time. We've got the women's 3,000 metres heading our way relatively soon.
Yes, the men's long jump is also underway. The athletes were introduced to the crowd just a few minutes ago. So, Yuki Hashioka. Personal best of 8:36 puts him right up there at the moment in the global scene. But it's a case of, it's a matter of doing it consistently in the field events. Hashioka, 6th in the Olympics here in Tokyo back in 2021, and that's a brilliant jump from him. Wow. Does he like it? Let's wait and see. Powerfully built Hashioka, nice rhythm, good acceleration, really good height off the board, and that surely looks well beyond 8 meters. He's already jumped 8:14 this year. That was back at the end of March. That's 6th place at the Games. Was one of the best Japanese performances in this stadium 5 years ago, and he's perfect on the board there. Really strong. Quick word with the coach, for the man who likes a bit of fishing and gaming, he says. His father was a 7-time Japanese pole vault champion, so he has the good genes. And his mother, Naomi, is a former junior high school record holder in the 100-meter hurdles, long jump and triple jump. Boy, if you wanted to pick your parents, he couldn't have chosen much better than those if it had been an option. Still waiting for that mark to come up. But it looked superb. It looked well beyond 8 meters. His season's best 8:14, as I said. I think it was in that sort of region. There's still nothing up yet. 8:13, I thought so. Yeah, 1 centimetre shy of his season's best. A fantastic opener. And that throws the gauntlet down for the rest of this field. He's first in the jumping order of the 10 starters.
Well, we move on to Shua, Hibiki Shua of Japan. 3 times the national indoor long jump champion over the course of 2022, 24 and 25. A nice gasp from the crowd. It's a good start. Looks explosive off the board. Perhaps with a bit of room there still to adjust his run up. A few centimetres wasted, perhaps.
Yeah, he sat back on it, didn't he? Gives a bit away on the board. But as you say, Rosie, wasted. What's bizarre is that they can now measure that distance of white board that he cleared. It's not as if he didn't clear it, he did clear it. So you can actually literally measure how far they long jump these days.
I think that's a fascinating bit of extra information that you can get. But 7 meters 70 for his opening round.
Well, you can see the athletes lined up there for the next event on the track, the 3,000 metres, 7.5 laps of the track for this 16-athlete field. Nozomi Tanaka left of picture, Olympic 1,500-metre finalist in this stadium 5 years ago. She was 8th, actually, in the Olympic 1,500. She's a sub-4-minute 1,500-metre runner. Really good speed endurance, too. She's run 8:33 for this distance. That was actually indoors last year. Outdoors, 8:42, almost 10 seconds slower. But while there's a big Japanese contingent here, there is a good international element to the Irish athlete, Laura Nicholson, the 26-year-old. Only broke 9 minutes for the first time in Hobart back in February. But she won the Irish 1,500-metre title last year and ran in the World Championships in this arena last September, although she went out in the heats of the 1,500. There is Tanaka. Great personal bests. 14:29 for 5,000. She's run really strong. Holds the area records for 3,000 and 5,000. Caroline Kariba, just 22 years old, the Kenyan, very strong. She's run 67 for a half marathon. Janet Chepkomoy, based in Japan, 3 5,000s already this year, and she's won all of them. Riri Hironaka, 7th in the Olympic 10,000 in this stadium 5 years back. There's Laura Nicholson, the Irish 26-year-old. Amina Matoug of the Netherlands, European under-23 bronze medalist at 5,000 a couple of years back. Nanaka Izawa, 8:56, has just broken 9 minutes. Miyaka Sugata, introduced to the crowd. They're another developing Japanese athlete. And then quite a few athletes in this field who've never broken 9 minutes. Nagisa Shimotabira, she's a 9:01 athlete. Izumida, best of 9:04. Shimizu, Rina Shimizu, 9:37 her personal best. She'll need to improve massively if she's to stay with this field for long. Kawaguchi, 8:54 athlete, Momoka Kawaguchi. Mikuni Yada, 9:01. A lot of athletes here. Hopefully will take advantage of these good conditions, including Henmi, who's run 9:12, and maybe going to under 9 minutes for the first time. Miyu Saito, 9:09 performer. And completing the lineup there on the inside, Mizuki Mishita, a 9:13 performer. 9 minutes really is the lowest mark on which you can consider yourself international standard. And if you're not breaking 9 minutes, then you really are a national standard athlete. But this is a great opportunity for these athletes to run fast here, maybe get personal bests. The meeting record, 8:43, is vulnerable. Well, who's going to take it out? That looks like Chepkomoy, Janet Chepkomoy. She'll be 20 in November, so she's not a junior this year, even though she is 19 right now. As I mentioned, she has run 3 5,000s already this year in Japan. She's won them all. And a personal best on the 11th of April, just last month, of 14:44 for 5,000. This, though, at 3,000. Nice bit of speed work for her. And into the shade, a bit of welcome shade. Although, considering how sweltering hot it can get, and really humid, Rosie, in cities like Osaka and Tokyo in particular, these are very kind conditions.
Yeah, they certainly are, and these middle distance runners will be grateful for that, especially at this point in the season. It'll be a welcomed kind of introduction, if you like, to their to their track season, to the outdoors. The heat, like you say, Tim, it can get oppressive, and that humidity can be really an extra challenge. And the fueling and hydration becomes a real consideration for these athletes then. So 27 degrees it was just about half an hour or so ago in the stadium, and these athletes won't mind that too much. Being out in it for less than 10 minutes or so is ideal, really.
No, that's exactly right. Tanaka back in 5th place at the moment, as Miyu Saito, the 23-year-old, leads them round these first couple of laps. That first lap was slow, a click inside 73 seconds. Now they're beginning to stretch out a little bit. Indeed, the first 7 or 8 pulling away just a little bit from the rest. That is still Chepkemoi, the tall figure, in second place. They go through 800, coming up towards 800 at the end of this straight. If they run a similar sort of lap, it'll be about 2:26, and I think they have picked it up quite a bit here. Yes, they have. 2:21. Look at that lap, a 68 after a 73 virtually for the first lap.
Well, that's going to sting the legs a little bit for those that are perhaps at the back of that lead group. Chepkemoi will be quite happy with that injection of pace, but you can see a split has appeared already, and the legs will certainly be feeling that, because a 5-second increase in pace is quite significant, and the fatigue can really start to set in with sudden switches like that. Often we see athletes try and wind it up gradually because it can just help maintain a bit of freshness, but it's making it a slightly harder run from home. And now we've got 5 athletes at the front of this 5,000 metres with 5 laps to go. 3,000 metres, sorry, Tim.
So 2:55 for that first kilometre. They did pick it up nicely over the last 600 once they realised, I think, that first lap was way too slow. The meeting record is 8:43, remember, and they're pretty much on 8:45 tempo, so it's promising.
Well, back over to the men's long jump, and Ashikowa into round 2. Just a centimetre off his season's best in round 1. So he'll be looking to really push forward with that now and find his rhythm. Former world under-20 champion. Looking nice and focused. And that's another big one. He doesn't look too pleased with it. There's a few bits of intrinsic feedback you can see him reacting to already. It's fantastic how these athletes can instantly know how that jump's gone. Perhaps a little far back on the board. And we can see there, not too bad. There's still a few centimetres. 8:22, it is a progression on from that opening round, and a new season's best for Yuki Ashikowa.
Back to this women's 3,000 then, and we have a clear breakaway from this group of 5. 5 minutes on the clock. They'll go through this time with 3 laps to run. And it is Tanaka who hits the front with 1,200 meters to go towards the back of this little pack. It should be Mikuni Yada with 4 on her back, but I think it's Kariba, Caroline Kariba, who's at the back of the group. She's got 4 on her back. She's got number 15 according to our start list. Now, Janet Chepkemoi has decided not enough has been done. This is 2,000 meters now. It has slowed a little bit. They go through 2,000 there, 5:54.56. So that second kilometer, a 2:59 after an opener of 2:55. That's a shame because it was building nicely through 1K. But now, Janet Chepkemoi and Kariba, I think that is tucked in behind her. They've opened up very quickly here, a gap of about 10 or 12 meters on the pursuing pair of Japanese.
Yeah, there was a real injection of pace at that 1K to go mark, and I think Chepkemoi just started to think, well, if I want to get this record, if I want to get her in and around that 8:45 mark, we've really got to go for it now. And she is winding up continuously, and she's opening up daylight between herself and second now. It's going to be a long run for home with 700 meters to go.
This is a brave run from Chepkemoi because she's only 19. It was a very decisive, firm decision she made to go hard. Lovely long legs, big stride, nice back kick, high back kick, clearly has good speed. 64 there, that is what has destroyed them. She has probably opened up 40 meters in the Japanese pairing to the right of picture, and she's tearing away from Kariba with every stride here. This has been a very, very impressive surge from her over the last lap and a half, and I wonder what her last kilometer will be. Remember, 5:54.6 at 2K, but she comes to the bell this time, and a good last lap will see her a long, long way under 8:50. This will be impressive. The iconic shot of the bell being rung. Never quite sure why we need to see it. We can hear it, but we saw it. And the gaps have opened up, and this looks a totally different race from 2 laps ago, Rosie. Completely different, and it's been a fearless final kilometre. And it's one that really you can only applaud, because it was starting to slow, and we thought, well, that 8:45 mark is just not attainable. But with 200 metres to go, she looks full of running still, not tying up at all. That gap, probably about 35 metres, back to Caroline Kariba, the 22-year-old, her compatriot behind her. But Janet Chepkoech, just 19 years old, remember that name. Based in Japan, coached well, managed well. Has never run for Kenya before, but I think we're going to be seeing a lot of this young lady in years to come, because she's got a beautiful stride. She's clearly strong-willed and massively talented. She's got about a 50-meter lead now. She comes towards the line, and look at the clock. Her personal best is 8:46. She's going to smash that. 8:39.25. Absolutely brilliant. She takes, over 6 seconds, over 7 seconds off her lifetime best. And all the hard running, frankly, was in the last kilometre. Boy, oh boy, it is indeed a new meeting record. I thought it was off. Unlikely at 2K when they went through in a click inside 5:55. The meeting record was 8:43. She runs 8:39. And well, that puts her right up there towards the top of the world rankings. And goodness me, there's another 10 seconds there at least, Rosie, because that was a very, very uneven way to run at 3,000 metres.
Yeah, most definitely, Tim. I think once we get her in a race that's consistent and one where she's perhaps not doing as much of the work to put in that surge and wind it up, it's a much more efficient way of running. And yeah, there's definitely much, much more to come from the 19-year-old. And I think we should be very excited to see what this season has in store for her, and of course the coming seasons as well.
Well, she doesn't look overly spent either after that one.
Well, the results of that earlier 400 metres, Rai Benjamin with a commanding win, a very relaxed 400 metres, coming through in 44.69. And Samu Konga, the Zambian, coming through for second, 44.83. And Vernon Norwood with perhaps a slightly slow start. He had a better midsection of the race. But he rounds off the top 3. And those standings, of course, combined with the initial heat that we saw as well.
Well, the women's javelin is one of the highlight events of the meeting. Of course, they do have their own, very own Olympic champion, Haruka Kitaguchi. Being introduced to the crowd there is Flor Denis Ruiz Hurtado, the Colombian 35-year-old. It's a 61-meter thrower this year. There is the world's #1 javelin thrower, the 28-year-old. Her first competition of 2026, this, Rosie. Very significant.
Yeah, it certainly is. And we've seen already big support from the Japanese crowd for Kitaguchi, but these athletes continuing to wave and enjoy the atmosphere, which is so fantastic in Tokyo.
We saw a couple of athletes ago, Zenko, the European champion back in 2022 from Greece, the 23-year-old. Yuki Yamamoto there, the 25-year-old, 61-meter thrower. That's a lifetime best just a couple of weeks ago in Hiroshima. Marina Saito will be the penultimate throw in each round, and Momoko Tsuji will complete each round. For the first 3 rounds at least, she's 10th in the throwing order, a 58-meter thrower. That world record of Spotakova, 72 meters 28. Seems like science fiction now, doesn't it, compared with this current generation of javelin throwers. Kitaguchi is the world #1, most consistent thrower around at the moment. She won the world title in Eugene back in 2022, the World Championships, and the third in Eugene. She won in Budapest the following year and then took the Olympic title in 2024. Now there's an interested spectator. You might have expected him to be there. He holds the meeting record. Jan Zalezny, the men's javelin, coming up.
Well, there'll be keen interest then in how Kitaguchi goes in this. Of course, she didn't have the championships she'd have wanted back in September. She was one of the poster girls for the home champs, and it just unfortunately didn't go her way. She was nursing an elbow injury, but she does line herself up, and she looks very, very ready to throw, ready to correct some of those hardships from September.
So Haruka Kitaguchi then, her opening throw in her first competition of 2026. How has our winter gone? Very, very fast arm. Well, that's around 59 meters. Smiling, it's only round 1. It hasn't really hit it perhaps with the bang she might have liked, might have preferred. But she won in Eugene 4 years ago. She became the first Japanese woman to win a world championship medal in a throwing event. She's maintained that consistency. Former swimmer and badminton player. Kitaguchi, 58.60, something to build on.
Most definitely, and it's a solid opening round, and one that she'll be pleased is out the way. Often it can be difficult to come back to a venue where you know that your competition perhaps didn't go quite so well, especially something as significant as a home World Championships. But we move back to this men's long jump competition. Mitraszewski of Australia, the 5 times national long jump champion, making sure that this one is a registered mark. A no jump in round 1. And that looks better on the board. Mitraszewski will be glad to get one ticked off. And often then field eventers find themselves relaxing more into the competition, and that's when the real performances come out. 7 meters 90 in the second round for the Australian. 8.12, his best of the season so far.
So Riko Ito, he too a no jump in the first round. So Ito is an 8.11 jumper at his best. That was last year here in Tokyo. 7.94 his season's best, and that looks very similar. That's close to 8 meters. 3 times Japanese national indoor triple jump champion, most recently in 2023. He's actually jumped exactly 17 meters for the triple jump. Good speed. Just sits back on that one a little bit. Yeah, there it is, you can see the flat backwards. Might have lost a bit of ground there. Really good on the board at 7.94, coming just last Sunday. 7.96 puts him into second place. Well, there's the result of that women's 3,000 metres. Janet Chepkomoy, a meeting record, 8:39.24. Absolutely brilliant ahead of her compatriot, Kariba. Well, blue skies above the Japanese capital. The full heat of summer hasn't yet arrived, but it's coming. They all know it's coming. Plenty of them choosing to sit in the sun. They won't be doing that in a month or two.
Yeah, the Tokyo Summer's definitely a challenging one, and often that's why we see the meets, of course, held at the very start of the season, the very end of the outdoor season as well. The World Championships in September, a particularly hot one for that time of year. But there's your lineup for the men's 200 metres. Again, a good contingent of Japanese athletes going in this, but Courtney Lindsay and Jordan Anthony, both ones to watch from the American side. And there you have it, Anthony on the screen there, the 21-year-old world indoor 60-metre champion. And Courtney Lindsay as well. Looking nice and composed, actually. We get a range of different expressions and preparations from the blocks with the sprinters. Often they're trying to channel some aggression, some power to get themselves out the blocks as fast as possible. Some of them opting to try and relax themselves, and some unable to hide the apprehension on their face. Well, Jordan Anthony just enjoying the music that's being pumped around the stadium at the moment as the athletes are recalled. And the final block starts and the practices can be completed. Always interesting watching the sprints this early in the season. A lot of the time, the athletes just trying to find that rhythm, that explosive power, and hoping that it can translate well from an indoor season with, which of course it does focus on the 60 meters and the 200 as opposed to the 100. It'll be interesting to see here how Jordan Anthony fares given his 60-meter credentials. A significant difference between the two events, of course, the endurance needed in the sprint as opposed to the sharpness in getting out the blocks in the 60. Kota Uematsu then on the outside in lane number 9, the 20-year-old Adrian Kerr, the Jamaican, goes in lane 8, the world under-20 silver medalist, from 2022. And Jordan Anthony goes in lane 7, the world indoor 60-meter champion. 4x4 world champ Courtney Lindsay goes in lane number 6. Looking very confident. Toa Uzawa, 6th in the world, 4x1 in Tokyo, and 2-time Asian champion over the 200 meters. Caleb Law, the Australian world under-20 bronze in 2022. Chikatoni of Japan, 10:36 last season. Mizukubo goes in lane number 2 then on the very inside. Uemato very relaxed, and he'll have a slight challenge with the tighter bends. He can give an added dimension to the 200-meter running, and that's why we see athletes slightly picky about lane draws and those favoured lanes in lanes 5, 6, and 7. Still with a view of the outside, of course, but the bend's not quite as tight.
On your marks.
Well, it was a sharp start from the 21-year-old Jordan Anthony. Moving well on the outside. He's under the stagger on Adrian Kerr already. Kerr fighting now to hold on to that. And perhaps lap up the momentum. Courtney Lindsay moving well. Keep an eye on the inside. Misikubu looks strong, but Jordan Anthony, 20.06. And he hasn't even broken a sweat. The young American ticks off the Tokyo National Stadium with the season's best time. And he looks like it's a job well done. Happy to take it forwards, and sights already set onto the next. Courtney Lindsay in second, Tim.
Well, yeah, and that was into a minus 1.3 wind. Wow, and he wins by a couple of meters and going away there. Lovely, lovely fluid sprinter. Looked a little rough and untidy over the last 20 meters or so, but he held his form reasonably well, was covering the ground well. And at the end of the day, form matters less than speed. But that's a winner there, and a new season's best for him, 20.06. He's only 21. That's a big win, surely one of the biggest in his career. He is a 1993 sprinter from last year, but nice win there from lane 7.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you say, Tim, it doesn't matter how you get there as long as you get there first. It's the end goal, really, isn't it? But back over to the men's long jump. Mitrevsky once again. 790 in round 2. He was good on the board. And that looks in around the same sort of region. Straight back over to talk to coach and see what can be changed, and the instant feedback they can get not only from themselves but from recordings and speaking to their coach and playing things back frame by frame from the stands. .797, so a good improvement from round 2.
Well, we can go back to the women's javelin now, where, of course, Kitaguchi is expected to take a win here today. This is Flor Denis Ruiz Hurtado of Colombia. She opened with 60 meters 17. The only athlete to go over 60 meters in the first round. That's her second round effort, and that looks a little bit better. Oh, what a shame. Red flag for the Colombian 35-year-old World Championship silver medalist in Budapest back in 2023. Was that really nearly 3 years ago now? Sweltering heat and humidity in Hungary for those championships. But Hurtado there will have to stick with that. Although she still has the lead, 60-17. She may lose it now, though. Round 2 for Kitaguchi.
Yeah, Kitaguchi relieved, I'm sure, to get that first round ticked off. A throw squared away. And now she can really, really go for it and right those wrongs she should have felt from the world champs in September. First competition of the season as well. Always a bit of a rust buster. And a smile as she released that one, and it's not going to be enough to improve. And she knows what she needs to correct there. A bit of a frustrated talking to for herself.
Well, that's way down, isn't it? That's about 55 meters. Goodness me. I think the angle of release was all wrong. It died in the air. There is 54.69 for Kitaguchi. Going in the wrong direction.
Well, there you have the results of that men's 200 meters. Jordan Anthony looking strong for the first 175 meters or so, and just managing to remain on top in those closing stages. The world indoor 60 meter champion, proving that he can do both.
So back down to the track where the barriers are now on the lanes for the men's 400-meter hurdles. The athletes out there just adjusting their blocks, as you can see. Very welcome shade for sections of the track and some of the spectators. Karsten Warholm holds that world record. Remember, 45.94. That one coming here in this stadium back in the 3rd of August 2021. Quite astonishing. Nobody thought that for years yet we'd see 46 seconds broken for 400-meter hurdles. It was quite astonishing. But there's the lineup. Inoue, Kurokawa, Toyoda. Ismail Nazir goes in 4. World Under-20 champion back in 2022 for Turkey. Ogawa, Robinson, Drummond, Tsutsue, and Jake Minchell of Great Britain on the outside there, the Birchfield Harrier from Birmingham in the middle of the UK, where, of course, the European Championships will be hosted this coming August. So, Shunta Inoue on the inside is a 49.7 performer this year. He has run 48.4. Kurokawa, the world number 4, goes in lane 2. Watch him, 400 hurdle races so far this year, and he's gone well in both of them. There in lane 6 is Chris Robinson from the USA. He's fast on the flat. He's run 44.1. That was last year. He won the B400 at the World Indoors. They had 2 sections in the 400 meters at the World Indoors in Torun a few weeks back in March. He won his B400 and ended up 4th overall at the World Championships. There's Gerald Drummond of Costa Rica. He goes in lane 7, the 31-year-old. Semi-finalist in this very stadium back in September at 400-meter hurdles. He's a 48.1 performer at his absolute best. He's already run 49.3 this year. Relatively short for a 400 hurdler is Drummond at 5'9", 1m75. There is Nazir of Turkey. Still only 23 years old. Good lane draw for him, lane 4. Only his 2nd race of the year this. He was 3rd in Gaborone back at the end of April in 49.27. That's slightly altitude assisted. Kurokawa, now watch him. He's in lane 2. I think he'll be a little disappointed with that. His season's best, 48.35, is his lifetime best, and it makes him world number 4 this year. Indeed, this is a really strong event for Japan. At the moment on the world rankings, they have 3 in the world top 10 at 400 hurdles. There was a great 300-meter hurdles yesterday in Shanghai, of course, at the opening Diamond League of the season. Dos Santos of Brazil winning in 33.01, just outleaning Karsten Warholm, who ran 33.05, just 4 100ths of a second between the great one-lap hurdlers in that 300 hurdles. A rarely run event. But we do know this is a super fast track. These fellas will be aware, I'm sure, of the heritage of this track where the world record was set. That was Jake Minchell we saw very briefly there on the outside. He's at 48.7 performer at his best. Tsutsue goes in 8. There's Drummond, the Costa Rican. 49.3 this year. He'd love to dip under 49. Chris Robinson of the USA, 47.7, his personal best. Former NCAA champion. This is his season's opener. Ogawa goes in 5. World number 10 this year. Then Nazir, the world under-20 champion 4 years back. Only his 2nd race after that run in Gaborone. Ken Toyoda goes in lane 3. World University Games champion back in 2023 at the high hurdles. Won the Japanese 400 hurdles title in 24. Kazuki Kurokawa there goes in lane 2. He is the world number 4. He could be a bit of a surprise here. And Shunta Inoue of Japan goes on the inside, draws the short straw. He has run 48.4, but only 49.7 this year. So, Chris Robinson, tall figure, 6'2". He's the fastest in the race. He goes in lane 6. There is Nazir, European under-23 silver medalist last year. That was in Bergen last July. A lot of hopes around young Nazir in Turkey. Former world junior champion, as I said. He has run 48.33. That was in that European under-23 final in the middle of last summer. Inoue in red on the inside. Kurokawa there down on his haunches in lane 2. Bottom of picture. Twice national champion at 400-meter hurdles in 2021 and 2022. He's still only 24, Kurokawa. So the men's 400-meter hurdles, and the meeting record 47.60 by Bashawn Jackson back in 2006, 20 years ago now. World lead 47.82. I don't know if that's going to be under threat here, but this promises to be a great race with really good Japanese involvement. Kurokawa goes in 2. Ogawa in 5 is the world number 10. Chris Robinson in 6. Away they go. Nobody really showing early on. Jake Minchell left a picture, running a little bit blind, so to speak, out in lane 9 for Great Britain. Good running from Robinson in 6 now. He's the first to clear that barrier, 4th from left in lane 6. Robinson moving nicely. Also going well, Tsutsue, 2nd to left, closing up on Jake Minchell. But certainly the leader at the moment is Chris Robinson. Really good running too from Nazir of Turkey in the dark glasses, 4th from right. Also going well, Tsutsue. In lane 8, Tsutsue running brilliantly, and Nazir of Turkey out in front at the moment. It's going to be tight. Tsutsue in 2nd place nearest the camera, but it's going to be a win for Ismail Nazir. And what a run, 48.26 for Nazir. It's a new lifetime best for the Turk. Absolutely fantastic. Beautifully judged race. It was a nice lane draw for him. He's a big fella. He needed those gentler bends. He'd have been in trouble if he'd been in lanes 1 or 2, but he wins it in 48.25, in fact. That's a nice chunk of his lifetime best. Brilliant stuff. Judged it to perfection.
Well, isn't it, Justin? It's always exciting when we see athletes improving that lifetime best and taking off a couple of hundredths of a second here and there. At this stage in the season, we've got so much more to come. We're only in, May at the moment. We've got plenty of time.
Well, Rosie, I mentioned that the Japanese were strongly represented in that one. Look at their placing, 2nd, 3rd and 4th. 2nd and 3rd, both under 49 seconds. And against a top international field, the 3 athletes already in the world top 10 in this event, producing the goods behind the Turk Nazir.
Yeah, most definitely. And the Japanese athletics crowd are an exceptionally knowledgeable and passionate one. So the Japanese athletes will be feeding off that today, and it's a very, very special venue to be participating at, and that's something that these athletes will be channeling. So it's great to see the Japanese athletes having such a strong showing in that 4 hurdles.
Well, Kurokawa in lane 2 did indeed. There he is, 2nd to right. He did indeed go well, but not as well as Ismail Nazir. Thinking on his feet, dipping at the line. They're not taking any chances. 48.25, only his 2nd race of the year. It's over a second quicker than he ran in Gaborone at the end of April 3 weeks ago. Yeah, no wonder he's smiling. He is delighted with that run, and he should be. 48.25 makes him 3rd fastest in the world this year.
Hashikawa into round 4. 8.22, his best of the day so far. It's the season's best already. Not quite in personal best territory just yet. The long jump finalist from the Tokyo Olympic Games back in 2021. Got a lovely bit of height on that. A slightly frustrated look again, and we saw that in round 2, despite the improvement on his opening jump. Yuki Hashikawa continuously hungry for more. He looked good on the board there. Very, very good on the board. That's absolutely excellent. That is just a centimetre or 2 wasted there. An 8.03, so it's not an improvement. 8.22 from round 2 remains his best attempt. Midrevsky with some incredible speed there. There was no deceleration at all, really, but it won't be measured. Well, the light flashed green, but the officials were exceptionally fast on the rake there, so hopefully we'll see a mark come up in a second, Tim.
Well, wouldn't that be bizarre if they had raked it too quickly? Yeah, there he gets 8:04.
A relief. 8:04, the best of his day so far. He was barely out the pit before the rakes were brought out. The automated measuring must be working very, very smoothly.
Well, that women's javelin competition is rumbling along. 10 athletes out there taking their time in between these track races, which of course do interrupt their flow a little bit. Momone Ueda, the 26-year-old, an Olympic finalist in Paris 2024. Now, no throw in the first round. What can she produce here? Very powerfully built. She's quite small, 5'3", 1.60 m, and that is big. 61 meters and more, surely there from Ueda. Well, the silver medalist in the Asian Championships last year. She's got a great championship temperament, very fast, aggressive approach, and a quick arm too. Doesn't take any chances with crossing the line there. Releases probably about 5 meters before the line, but gives it everything there. A lifetime best 62.20. And I'll tell you what, she's probably on about a meter down on that. That is superb from Ueda. 61 meters 40 to take the lead. Brilliant stuff.
Well, what a throw that was, and what a crowd to do it in front of. Takimoto trying to follow suit and just manages to keep herself behind that line. Looks around the 59-meter region. The best of the season so far, 59.68. Perhaps just shy of that. Doesn't release quite as early as we saw her national teammate release a couple of moments ago, but brilliant effort nonetheless. And 59.02, best of the day so far.
Well, let's have a look now at the women's 400-meter hurdles result. There it is. Ismail Nazir, 48.25 from Tsutsue, 48.65. Kurokawa, 48.86. Brilliant stuff from him there, considering he was in lane 2.
Well, the men's 400 meters didn't disappoint, and we've got the women's up next. Few athletes in here that will be looking to really push on and add to those world rankings. You can see the rankings on the right-hand side. But there's the start list. Yemi Mary John, the World Championship silver medalist over the 4x4. Sophie Becker as well of Ireland, the European silver medalist in the 4x4 back in 2024. Bailey Lear dialing herself in as well of the USA. Lots and lots of relay medals between this field. Teramoto on the outside then of Japan. Starts in lane number 9. Matsumoto goes in lane number 8, the Asian champion over the 400 meters last year. Yemi Mary John of Great Britain goes in lane 7. We've seen some success from lane 7 already today. Bailey Lear of the USA goes in lane number 6. 2 times world indoor champion over the 4x4. Gabby Scott and in lane number 5, the 4 times national champion. Sophie Becker of Ireland in lane 4. Aoki, another Japanese athlete, ready to show the home crowd everything they've got, goes in lane number 3. Iwata in lane number 2, the Asian Championships bronze medalist over the 4x4 back in 2019. Moriyama goes in on the inside in lane number 1, the Asian champs 4x4 bronze medalist 2 years ago. So Bailey Lear in lane 6, Yemi Mary John in 7, Gabby Scott in 5. So the middle lanes have the potential for a fierce race between them. Well, Leah got away well, very sharp out the blocks. On the outside, Matsumoto closing down already. She's really attacking hard in this opening 150 meters, and Yemi Mary John trying to hold on to that momentum and has really powered along past the 200-meter mark. Yemi Mary John of Great Britain really trying to open strongly. Bailey Lear giving chase now, and is this where she's going to come into her own? The second half of this race, of course, can bring so many different dynamics. The lactic really hits here, and Yemi Mary John then still leading into the home straight. She hit it hard after about 150 meters, and she's not faltered since. Yemi Mary John of Great Britain manages to hold on out from lane 7, a meeting record 49.85. That's a lovely personal best. The Olympic bronze medalist over the 4x4. And she can't believe it. An excellent way to continue her season. A season's best previously of 51.55, so a huge, huge improvement off that. Bailey Lear settles for second with 50.42.
Wow, that's all I can think of saying. John there breaking into the sub-50 club in spectacular fashion. That's a big personal best by Yemi Mary John. She takes over 0.6 of a second off her lifetime best there from lane 7. Lear, that's a personal best for her as well, 50.42. The American just inside her in lane 6. And Scott, 50.11 in third place. Quite a long way back there. Gabby Scott for Puerto Rico. But it is for Scott, 52.11, significant season's best. But that, well, for British viewers, that is the story of the day from Yemi Mary John. I'm trying to think where that puts her on the British all-time rankings. We haven't had too many sub-50 performers, Rosie.
No, definitely not, and we'll have to look that up quickly, Tim, because that was a superb run. I really can't fault it. She was out the blocks well, held off in that first 150 meters or so, and really began to attack when she saw Matsumoto undo the stagger in that opening 150. She allowed Matsumoto to do the work on her outside, and then she really put her foot down and was unrelenting until that final few meters, and she crossed the line so strong. Yemi Mary John will be delighted to leave Tokyo with a shiny new sub-50 personal best. But back over to the women's javelin.
Yes, Kitaguchi hasn't hit her straps yet, has she? Crikey. She'll be very disappointed with that. She's down in 6th place now. She comes to this round 3 effort. She really does need to see a significant improvement here. Well, the lead still held at the moment by that 61-meter effort from Momone Ueda in the second round, 61 meters 40. As she got this one right, round 3 for the Olympic champion. That's a little bit better. Over 60 meters, becomes just the 3rd athlete to broach the 60-meter line across the sexta. Hurtado opened with 60.17. I don't know if she's done enough to go past the Colombian, but that brings a degree of respectability to her card after her opening 2 efforts of 58.60 and 54.69. A lot of these athletes perhaps a little bit technically rusty. 60.36. She does move into 2nd place. That's more like it.
Well, confirmation of that meeting record from Yemi Mary John. 49.85. Brilliant from the British athlete. Bailey Lear coming through just half a second behind. And Gabby Scott rounding off the top 3 with 52.11. A good season's best. men's long jump standings. Ashioka leading the way at the moment. Round number 6. .822. Best of the day. One more attempt to improve on that. And he hits that with great speed. It looks like it's going to be just underneath that 8-meter mark, and he knows it. His head bowing straight away. He jumps up and says thank you very much to the crowd. And great support throughout his afternoon's competition.
Well, 3 efforts beyond 8 metres, Rosie. Not a bad series, is it? And that 8.13 opener laid the foundation, then 8.22 in the second round. He gives away a lot of ground there. That's a nice series.
Yeah, it certainly is, and 7.90 in the final round. It's definitely a consistent platform that he can build on, heading forwards and into the rest of the season.
Chris Mitrevsky next to go, then 6th and final round for the Aussie. 8.04 in round 4, his best. And that was with 0 wind. The wind really is gusting. There has been 1.9s behind the athletes and 0 wind. I don't think I've seen any headwinds. Oh, that looked nice from Mitrevsky. The distance marker board unavailable there initially. And I think he gets the red light, does he, for that one, Mitrevsky? That would be a shame because it looked like a big jump. Really good speed, quick acceleration. No, it was good on the board. What does he get? Now, where's the distance marker gone? It would be so nice to see it. Gives us some kind of visual guidance. It's not there. But the Aussie, 8.04 in round 4. Has he improved on that? Gives away about 10 or 12 centimetres on the board. 8.09, he does. He finds something a little more in the 6th and final round. Moves him into 2nd place there, Mitrevsky. That's really satisfying. Great way to round off his series.
Yeah, certainly an excellent end to his competition. Mitrevsky will be pleased to have progressed throughout. Just one jump on the board for Ito. That was back in round 2, 7.96. An improvement here could see potentially a leapfrog into 2nd. Very, very forward lean on that approach, and that's going to be just shy of 8 metres, and he knows it. Yuki Ito will have to settle for 3rd place in Tokyo. A slight forward lean in his approach, and then almost a lean back on the board. But a good afternoon with a strong 2nd round jump to get him on the podium. Hashioko then crowned the winner in front of a home crowd.
Well, the next event on the track is the women's 100-meter hurdles. The barriers being prepared as we can go back to the women's javelin now. The meeting record hasn't been threatened yet, 67.12 by Shi Ying Yu of China. That was back in 2018, gosh, 8 years ago now. Biggest throw in the world this year, 63.74 by Madison Wiltrop of of the USA. That was in Des Moines towards the end of April. Now Kitaguchi, round 4. She's begun to find the groove with that round 3 effort, 60.36. She's in second place. Remember, the lead is still that 61.40 round 2 effort by her compatriot Momone Ueda. What can Kitaguchi do here? Surely she can't be beaten by a Japanese today. No, that's way down again. That's about 57 meters. She fouls out on purpose. No, little shake of the head there. She knows it's just not happening, but she will be aware of what she's doing wrong. The onboard computer making adjustments all the time. Through 65.80 to win that Olympic gold in Paris a couple of years back. Anything around 63.5 meters would do very nicely right now.
Release Hadato. Also one that isn't able to reach the velocity perhaps that she usually would, and it falls short of that 60-meter line again. World silver in 23. And now Saito steps up. World University Games silver medalist in 2017. Sat in 4th at the moment, 59.25. Marina Saito then. Much closer to that boundary line that some of her competitors, and it does sail over 60 meters. That looks about 60.5, give or take. And there we go, 60.45 for the Japanese. It's a lovely season's best for the 30-year-old. 62.37 her PB, so still a ways off that, but an excellent step in the right direction.
Takimoto then in 5th place. Here goes her round 4 effort. 59 meters, her best so far. 59.02 in round 2, and that one outside the sector. Goodness me. She's a 62.5 meter thrower at her best, but it's not happening for her today. She's thrown 59 meters and bits earlier on this year. Today, 59.02 is not a season's best, so she too struggling. I don't think there's a lot of wind in the arena. It's gusting, I suppose you could say, because we have had 1.9s in the long jump, haven't we? They're not able to get to grips with this, although we do now have 4 women over 60 meters. Very fast arm there from Otobor of the Bahamas. Rima Otobor. She's a 64-meter thrower at her absolute best. That was a couple of years ago in Eugene, Oregon. Just over 60 meters this year. But the Bahamian, while her series isn't coming good yet, opened with a 58-meter throw, then another 58-meter in the second round. 56 in round 3. 58.73 in round 1 remains her best.
Tsuji, Momoko Tsuji of Japan. 58.98 her best. She fouls out of that one. And some of these throwers just struggling to find their rhythm and find that flow in this competition. We will revisit the javelin a little bit later on as we move on to the 100 meter hurdles in a few moments' time. But there's, again, confirmation of that women's 400 meters results.
Yeah, Yemi Murray, John and Bailey Lear, a class apart, aren't they? Lovely race between those two. And that's probably the British performance of the season, I would say, Rosie, so far. I know it's early days, middle of May, but it's going to take some unseating.
Yeah, it absolutely is. We've got plenty still to come, but it's going to be a brilliant one.
Yuki Hashioka then winning that long jump for the men with 8 meters 22. Nice series from him. And he, along with the Australian Matreski, gradually getting better and better as the competition wore on. The Australian Matreski producing 8:09 in the 6th and final round. For Hashioka, the winning jump, 8:22 coming in round 2. Well, the women's 100-meter hurdles, the next event on the track, and the performances have been quite superb on the track so far. There was that lineup. We'll go through the field for you, of course. 8 women have run under 12:70 this year. There in lane 6 is Aliyah Armstrong of the USA, 4th in the World Championships in Budapest 4 years ago. Ran well in Torun at the World Indoors back in March, 6th at those World Indoors in Poland. She won the US indoor title this past winter as well in Staten Island. Yuki Omatsu of Japan hasn't broken 13 seconds this year. Chisato Kiyoyama goes in lane 2, 13:16 this year, 2nd in the Asian Indoor Championships earlier on this year. Tatiana Ohaulu of Canada, 2nd in the Canadian Indoor Championships this year, semi-finalists at the World Indoors last year. They're in lane 4, Anna Tot of Hungary, best of 12:77, that was last year. She's won 13:19 this year. Amol Brown, 8th at the World Indoors last year in Nanjing for Jamaica, goes in 5. Aliyah Armstrong there, she's the American, already seen her poor last week though in Osaka, 13:3. Yumi Tanaka goes in lane 7, a good win in Hiroshima at the end of April, so ready to go under 13 seconds, we think, ahead this year. Hitomi Nakajima, bronze medalist in the Asian Indoor Championships earlier on this year, under 13 second in their last 2 races. And Mako Fukube of Japan goes in lane 9, the Asian under 20 champion, all of 12 years ago. She's 30 years old, and many times as semi-finalist, the former swimmer, Fukube. But Aliyah Armstrong, well, she is at her best, of the very highest ability. 12.32 her personal best, coming last year in Chortów in Poland. She was 2nd last Sunday though in 13.34 in Osaka. Maybe it just arrived after the long flight from the USA, I don't know, but that was a poor run from the American a week back. Omatsu goes in 1 on the far side, Kiyoyama in 2, Aholu in 3, Anna Tot of Hungary goes in 4. Jamaica's Amol Brown goes in 5. Only his 2nd race of this year. She had no indoor season, Brown. Aliyah Armstrong there goes in 6, 4th from left. Tanaka in 7, Nakajima 8, Fukube in 9. Good start there from Aliyah Armstrong. Very slight lead from her, going well though is Aholu in 3rd from right for Canada. Under pressure though, Armstrong from Tanaka now. Armstrong holding her form at the moment. Is she going to take this one? She does indeed, by about half a metre. 12:75, doesn't threaten that meeting record from Tanea Marshall, set last year, 12:54. But that's a good solid run, 12:75, and a massive improvement on a run from a week back in Osaka, 13:34. She's just run about 5 or 6 metres quicker than last week. So, yeah, a reset there for the 4th placer at the World Championships in Eugene back in 2022, Aliyah Armstrong. Yeah, all worries behind her now. Wasn't a comfortable win though, that was a great run from Tanaka in 2nd place, 12:81, her lifetime best from last year, 12:80, so she very, very nearly set her fastest time ever, Tanaka, pressurising Armstrong all the way, Rosie.
Yeah, brilliant, and it just shows there's so much more room for her this season. I'm sure we'll see her smash that lifetime best as the season goes on, and you never know, she might get lucky and it might get rounded down and she might just equal her lifetime best as well. But Armstrong, isn't it amazing the difference a week can make? The form, the feeling, the power, all these things can change just overnight for an athlete. All it takes is a couple of good nights sleep perhaps, or a bit of rest, and form can completely reset. And Armstrong back on top.
Absolutely, 12:75 is confirmed. for Aliyah Armstrong. Very run-of-the-mill time by her standards. As I said, she's a 12.3 performer at her absolute best. But 12.75 for Armstrong is just a season's best.
Well, Kitaguchi still trying to find some form. She'll want to do all she can to really find something in this 5th round. Sat in 3rd place at the moment. She needs to banish the demons of the Tokyo Stadium. Big yell. And it's close to the 60-meter line, but it's not close enough. Kitaguchi won't see an improvement in round 5. And sometimes it just doesn't come together on competition day. .58.04. Another one to back up that 1st round throw, but unfortunately no improvement, and she'll remain in 3rd for now.
Here's Hurtado then. No throw in round 4 for her. What can she produce in round 5? Something just over 60 meters. Well, she threw 60.17 in round 1, 60.55 in round 2. She has 2nd place at the moment behind Momone Ueda, whose 2nd round effort was a 61.40. That might be, I don't think it's an improvement for Hurtado. Silver medalist in Budapest, remember, in 2023. Former football player. She's a mum, has a young girl. Born in Pradera, the Colombian. 60.55 for her there in round 5. And that eases her past Kitaguchi's 60.36, which came in round 3.
Saito. Sat in 3rd at the moment. Kitaguchi dethroned and removed from the podium as things are at the moment. That was a good release, but another one shy of 60 meters, coming in around that 59-meter mark. Making use of as much of that runway as she could before risking stepping over the line, and unfortunately wasn't enough to add to that throw. Takimoto, the Asian Championships bronze medalist from last season. Good job stopping herself going past that line, and it looks like it could just about be an improvement on that 59.02.
Interesting, isn't it, though, Rosie, that Japan have got this generation of good female throwers now, and I wonder how much of it is due to the inspiration of Haruka Kitaguchi. If she can win Olympic titles and global titles like she did in Budapest 3 years back, I suspect others are thinking, if she can, I can. Always good to have a mentor or a hero. 59.30 there for Takimoto. That puts her into, what, 5th place. It is a significant improvement. The Bahamian, Reima Otabo, goes next. Otabo, 58.73 in round 1, her best. It's not happening for her. She's a 64-meter thrower at her absolute best. No throw in round 4. The variations in technique are quite marked in these 10 throwers. And that one comes down. Well, I tell you what, That's about 62 meters from Otterborg. And that could be the winning throw, at least the leading throw. 61.57, it is indeed. Brilliant from Otterborg. Now it's beginning to happen. She's thrown 60.83 this year, so it's the season's best for her.
Well, not quite happening for Momoko Tsuchi. And a red flag, she's happy to allow that one to be a foul instead of having it measured. But I think you're right, Tim. It's an interesting point you made of having that mentor that's almost inspired a generation of strong Japanese javelin throwers to come through. It doesn't take long for that to begin to infiltrate the top line of athletics, and it must be a fantastic feeling for a lot of these Japanese athletes to be competing alongside Haruka Kitaguchi now.
Well, Otterborg's 61.57 has put the cat amongst the pigeons. That's almost 3 meters better than her opener, 58.73. Takes the lead from Momone Ueda, who has led since round 2, so she led for 3 rounds. 61.40, there's only 17 centimeters in it. And in third place, Flor Denise Ruiz Hurtado with 60.55 in round 5. So Kitaguchi has been shunted out of the top 3 and will not be involved in the 3-2-1, the final 3 in the javelin. Only the top 3 get a 6th round effort. Otterborg with that fabulous round 5 effort then, 61.57. Can she improve upon it? Maybe she can. Talk about consistency. Sense of deja vu with that throw. It came down, I reckon, within a very few centimeters of that 5th round throw, which was so much better than her previous 4 efforts. Her first 3 efforts, 58, 58, 56, then a no throw in round 4, and she throws 61.57 in round 5. What she produced there in round 6. Waiting for that mark to come up from Otterborg. I'm not sure there was an improvement, but the consistency is what she'll be delighted with. Otterborg's final effort. Oh, 58.09. I think that was it was a replay we were seeing of her best throw in round 5.
Oh, and absolutely everything into that final round throw. Ueda taking a bit of a tumble on the runway, but it won't be an improvement. Just a slight slip of the foot on landing. She was able to stop herself rolling over that boundary line, and 56.55 in the final round. So round 2 remains her best effort.
And the final throw will go to Hurtado in third place after 5 rounds. 60.55 for her. Coming in round 5, just denied the Olympic champion Kitaguchi a 6th and final round effort. Oh my word, that's big as well. That's an improvement. 60.55 in round 5. And having opened with a 60-meter effort, a modest 60-meter effort, that one surely is the best of her day. And it might, I don't know if it'll threaten the leading pair. Remember, Otterborg leads with 61.57. Ueda in second with 61.40. It's going to be very close. She might have thrown around 61 meters. I don't know if she's seen an improvement there. 60.98, she's seen an improvement, but just below 61 meters and stays in third. Great series from the Colombian.
Yeah, perhaps one of the more consistent and better cards we've seen today, but Otterborg, the winner in Tokyo, 61.57.
Well, she's the Pan American Games silver medalist from 2023, a NACAC under-23 javelin champion, but never really done it on the global stage as Otterborg. Maybe this season on the Diamond League circuit, perhaps, without any major championships. Well, she does have the Commonwealth Games, mind you, as a Bahamian, doesn't she? She'll go into those as one of the favourites, there's no doubt about that, but she is the winner of this javelin competition day, 61.57. What a lovely smile there. Season's best by about 3/4 of a metre. Great stuff. You can't take that away. We need it for the next winner. Off aboard, just another Caribbean athlete who's enjoyed a university education in the States, attended the University of Nebraska. Her hometown is Nassau, the capital of the Bahamas. At 23, has the world at her feet, so to speak. Nice throwing from Momone Ueda too. 61.40, led for much of the competition, was almost good enough for the win. Ended up in second place with that second round throw.
Well, results on the screen then for the women's 100-metre hurdles a few moments ago, and Armstrong with a brilliant race in contrast to her one just a week ago. Tanaka coming in very strong with 12.81. It's definitely a challenge there from her, and that 12.81 unfortunately not rounded down, and it's still just a smidge outside that personal best. But Otterbourg then leading the way for the women's javelin results with 61.57. Ueda in second with 61.40, and Hudato coming through just shy of 61 metres. Itaguchi unfortunately not having the day she'd have hoped for in front of the home crowd.
Fascinating javelin competition there, and quite a disappointing one for Japan's Olympic champion, Haruka Kitaguchi. Men's high hurdles out on the track, and the athletes will be getting ready. The race due underway in about 5 minutes. The athletes only just coming out. I think you can see them over there at the far end, top left of your picture. Aries Merritt holds that world record from Brussels a few years ago now, 12.80. Rashid Muratake has the world lead with 13.05. Nobody under 13 seconds yet this year. Muratake producing that actually just last week in Osaka, 13.05. Although Tamal Britt yesterday running 13.07 in Shanghai in the opening Diamond League meeting of the year. There's a narrow victory over Cordell Tinch, 13.10. It's an unforgiving event, this, Rosie.
Isn't it just? I mean, firstly, in any sprint, you've not really got time for any errors at all, but with the hurdles as well, there's such a technical dimension to it. And one slip really has such a kind of catastrophic impact. It really does knock on and can impact other athletes' races as well. We've seen several times in past seasons hurdles impeding other athletes if they've been knocked or kicked or caught perhaps by the trail leg. The high hurdles, a really challenging technical event that blends with it some incredibly quick speed. That's Eric Edwards of the USA, the Pan American Under-20 champion. It was back in 2017, of course, so a few years ago now. Ujura due to be in lane 3. Looks like that may have been reshuffled slightly, but we'll get a better glimpse of that in a moment. Conor Schulman on your screen a moment ago. There he is, Ujura. Well, these final preparations and the block starts that the athletes go through before the race are so important, especially in a technical event like the hurdles, because there is so much that can impact those first few strides, and of course there is a rhythm to the high hurdles. 3 strides, the typical that we see between each barrier. And the athletes now getting themselves set up so that everything in their power allows them to find that flow. Johnny Breakins of the USA there, just 22 years old. A World Under-20 medal to his name in the 4x1. That was back from 2022. Shusi Namamoto, one of the Japanese athletes in this race. We've seen some really strong Japanese performances over the hurdles today, actually. No reason to believe why this one will be any different. And the home crowd have been lapping it up. Jeremy Conger on the outside, he's just going lane 9. The national under-20 record holder from last season. Of course, that was over slightly different height in the hurdles.
Introducing the athletes for the men's 110-meter hurdles final. Lane 1.
Well, here we go then in lane 1. Yoguchi of Japan, 5th at the Asian Championships in 2023. Next to him in lane 2, Johnny Breakins of the USA, the 22-year-old. Focusing in on that first barrier. Glance is unwavering. Azura of Great Britain then in lane number 3, the 4-times national champion over the high hurdles for the British. Namamoto goes in lane number 4. The Asian indoor silver medalist, over the 60-meter hurdles this year. 6th at the World Indoors as well. Eric Edwards then of the USA, the Pan American under-20 champion. Abe, the 22-year-old for Japan, the World University Games winner over the 110-meter hurdles last year. And then Connor Schulman goes in 7th. The American 5th at the NCAA Indoors in 2024. Izuyama of Japan, the World Indoor finalist in the long jump competition in Nanjing 2025. And then Jeremy Conger completes the lineup on the outside. So the men's 110-meter hurdles then. And a slightly longer hold, but a good start from Namamoto on the inside of Edwards. Edwards left behind slightly, and Namamoto now powering through. Azura starting to come into his own running now, and there's a stall on the outside. And that is a real shame, but Abe the one that could hold his form and come through. 13:28 for the 22-year-old into a -0.2 wind. World University Games winner from 2025. The winner of the Tokyo National Stadium. And what looked like it was about to be a very smooth race turned on its head in the second half. that time rounded down, 13.26. Conor Schulman comes through for second, 13.33.
Well, as you'd expect, Rosie, season's best coming thick and fast. That's a big season's best for Abe. 13.26, that win, and likewise for Schulman, a season's best, although only by 3/100ths of a second. But that one did underline the dangers of hurdling, didn't it, with Koga crashing to the ground from lane 9. Late in the race, too.
Yeah, a real shame to see that. And hopefully no injury sustained there, but we move on to the men's 100 metres in a few moments' time. And these are the heats that we had earlier on today, Tim.
Yes, Noah Lyles taking part in this one. Here's one of the big stars. And Lyles there in lane 5, taking his time. Wasn't the best of starts. He is 4 times a world champion at 200, but he is the Olympic champion at 100, even though he doesn't have the best of starts. He won there in 10.05 into a -1.1 wind. I would imagine he'll look at that one, Lyles, and be a little unhappy. I mean, he was way back. He was probably 4th or 5th after about 40 metres, but his top speed is quite staggering. He carries on accelerating. Most sprinters hit top speed around 70 or 80 metres, and then they just have to try and hold their form. Lyles, well, he doesn't hit top speed until about 90 metres. He just keeps getting quicker and quicker, and that's why he pulls away. One of the great showmen of the sport of track and field athletics, and a huge draw to this national stadium in Tokyo. Well, this was the second heat of the challenge races run a couple of hours ago. Jake Odie Jordan was the winner here for Great Britain. Tight at the line, mind you. He ran 10.07 to Tate Taylor from the USA, who ran 10.11. The win behind them plus 1.3. That's a relatively new name for me, Odie Jordan from Great Britain, and Tate Taylor as well. But that does earn him a place in the final. That 10.07, very solid run indeed. And the third challenge race in the 100 metres. A lot of sprinters like to get a race done an hour or two before a final, so to speak. Like to get a race done. Sort of blows out the pipes, wakes them up a little bit, so to speak. And this one was a pretty comfortable win there in lane 3 for Fukuto Komuro. 10.23 is a winning time into a very slight headwind, almost still a -0.2, with Jolin Nwamadi of Korea second on 10.35. None of these athletes making it through to the final cut, so to speak, the main 100 final coming up very shortly.
Well, they have the results of the men's 110-metre hurdles. Abe coming through to take that win. 13.26 with Schulman and Ojora rounding off the top 3. Nomoto had a strong run, and for a while looked like he might just challenge the podium. 13.41 sees him in 4th.
Well, conditions remain absolutely glorious above the National Stadium. And there is the man of the moment, Noah Lyles. 8 times a world champion. Back in 2023, he took gold in Budapest. 4 consecutive titles between 2019 and 2025 at 200 meters, world golds. That's Doha, Eugene, Budapest, and of course in this arena just last September, taking gold again over 200 meters. 6 times in Diamond League final winner at 100 meters in 2019, and then 5 times at 200 meters, including last season. He's fabulously consistent, a man born in Gainesville, a gymnast as a youth. says he wants to be a creator and a designer after his professional career. He is still only 28, no Lyles. Seems like he's been around for years. But he's an incredibly busy, dynamic character. In Budapest 2023, he became the first man to win 3 gold medals as a single World Championships, winning the 100, the 200, and the sprint relay, of course. That has since Usain Bolt back in 2015. Both his parents, former athletes, comes from great lineage. Describes himself as an artist and a rapper who's also interested in fashion. And of course, a couple of years ago, released a song with pole vaulter Sandy Morris. Nice to see those drums, Rosie, out there for the big showdown at 100.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And Tokyo, brilliant at putting on a show and having that entertainment value as well. And it really does suit Noah Lyles, actually. You mentioned he's one of the greatest showmen in the sport at the moment, and that he certainly is. And he loves Tokyo as well. He loves being in Japan and competing here. So it really does all add to the atmosphere. And it's going to really set up this 100 meters for an exciting final event on the track.
But isn't it just? Yes. Usain Bolt, of course, has that world record, 9.58. That was back in 2009. Was it really 17 years ago now? Wow. Lyles in this final has lane 5. He's right in the middle of the 9 athletes. So the drums raising the atmosphere in the arena. Just another notch. Lane 6 there is Yoshihide Kiryu of Japan. Well, there is the full lineup, along with the world rankings. Noah Lyles ranked as number 4, even though I think most people would rather regard him as the world's number 1 sprinter at the moment. Tate Taylor making it through to this final. He goes in lane 8. Lyles in that all-white strip, what looks a very close to being white strip, goes in lane 5. Marcellus Moore goes in 4 alongside Lyles. 3 Americans go in this one. Moore, Lyles, and Tate Taylor. Shota Izuka nearest the camera for Japan. And there is Izuka. Best of 10:08. His season's best 10:18. So in fine fettle, only less than a metre off his lifetime best form. There's Yamagata. He goes in lane 2. In fact, no, he doesn't, excuse me. He goes in lane 9. So we're going lane 1, lane 9, lane 2, lane 8. It always catches me out. Yamagata goes in 9. There is Yuki Koike. Goes in lane 2. Personal best 9.98, although hasn't broken 10.2 this year. He'll need to go down towards 10 seconds, I think, if he wants to be anywhere close to Lyles in this one. There is Tate Taylor in the green. He goes in lane 8. 10:05 is a lifetime best run earlier on this year. He's in very good form indeed, and that, funnily enough, 10:05 is exactly the time that Noah Lyles ran in his heat. He might be a threat to his compatriot 3 lanes to his left. There is Jake Odie-Jordan of Great Britain. We saw him running well in his heat. That 10:07 was a lifetime best. Yuhi Mori goes in lane 7. Mori, just 22 years old, looks nervous, doesn't he? Personal best of 10 seconds exactly, 10:12 this year, rounding into form. Of course, nobody wants to be pulling up trees just yet. It's very early season. The big peak of the summer is weeks and weeks away. There's Marcellus Moore. The 23-year-old is a 9.96 performer at his best. He too could be a problem for Lyles if he doesn't get it right here. This is Yoshihide Kiryu of Japan. Hasn't raced yet this year. 9.98 his PB. So this an opener for Kiryu, and he's drawn alongside this man, which indicates he could be a threat. Lyles. No, really, he's quite a shy, retiring fella. Lyles then roared to the rafters by this crowd. They've already seen him perform 10.05 earlier on. Just have a sneaking feeling he'll go quicker here. His last race was a 19.91 win over 200 metres in Gainesville, suggesting his speed endurance is in good form. His lifetime best 9.79, remember, for 100. Doesn't put him up there amongst the very quickest of all time, but it is fast enough if you can do it consistently, and he is super consistent. And of course, I guess his main event, his sweet spot, is 400, and is 200, and he has run 1 or 2 400s of late. I spoke to him a couple of years ago, and he said, I'm never going to run a 400. Well, of course, he has run 1 or 2 400 relay legs now, Rosie.
He certainly has, and it just adds to the excitement, doesn't it? Wherever he goes, you know it's going to be explosive, it's going to be powerful, both in performance and in personality as well. And yeah, I'm excited to see, as always, what the season's going to hold for Noah Lyles, and I think we could see something underneath that 10.05 today.
Well, in lane 6 beside Lyles is Yoshihide Kiryu. Kiryu was an Olympic Games silver medalist back in 2016 in Rio in the 4x100. Japan taking the silver in Brazil. He's relatively short and squat, is Kiryu. At 176, 5'9". Lyles, by contrast, well, he's not a huge man himself, 5'10", 1m77, but well put together, very quick. Noah Lyles then in lane 5 in this 100 meters final. Marcellus Moore in lane 4 to his left. Twitch there from Moore in the red and white. Now let's hope there's not a disqualification. There was certainly a twitch. Didn't set anybody else off, but he had to reset. So if you twitch early and then you sort of ease back into your blocks, and then the gun goes as you're moving backwards. It's always really awkward. You can get disqualified even though you've actually done yourself the opposite of a favor. Now, is there going to be a red card here? I really hope not. What do you reckon, Rosie?
I'm not sure, Tim. You can see there was just, oh yeah, it's going to be hard. Moore definitely twitched. Lyles next to him, of course, then inherently he's going to have a bit of a movement from that, so you can't help but react. As much as you can be the best starter in the world, and if somebody next to you twitches, then things look a little bit sketchy.
It's always deceptive, isn't it, in slow motion? I actually thought maybe O.D. Jordan there twitched in lane 3 in the black and white center of picture. Well, a green card, a warning card, so to speak, for the field. A faulty start there. So reset. Shota Izuka of Japan goes in 1. Yuki Koike of Japan in 2. Then the Briton, Jake O.D. Jordan, 10.07 in his qualifying race, a personal best, goes in 3. Marcellus Moore, a 9.86 performer, goes in lane 4. Noah Lyles goes in 5. Lyles, the Olympic champion at 100 for the USA. Yoshihide Kiryu in 6. Yuhi Mori of Japan in 7. Tate Taylor of the USA in 8. And Ryota Yamagata in lane 9. Lyles then right in the center there in that, what looks like a white strip. Not a great start from Lyles. He's already half a meter down on 2 or 3 of his opponents, but here he comes now, hits the front a little bit earlier than he did in his heat this morning, and he comes through really strongly there to win that one. 9.95 for Lyles. That's more like it. Beginning to round into shape. That's nice from Lyles, it really is. And only a handful of men have broken 10 seconds this year. Funny enough, that's exactly the same time as Andre de Grasse's run and Ferdinando Mignala. 9.95, fastest time in the world this year, 9.89 by Kabinat Shipi of Botswana. That was in Gaborone on the 3rd of April, but Lyles there doing more than enough to win. 9.95 from Taylor, his compatriot, 10.04 on the near side. There was a good daylight between him and the rest there. Those 9/100ths of a second represent about a metre in the speed they're moving at. Good running too from Odie Jordan, Rosie there, 10.09 to back up that 10.07 in qualifying.
Yeah, I think Odie Jordan will be delighted with that. That's a great day. Very solid couple of results and the consistency to be able to lay that down at this stage of the season. The fatigue as well, of course. People will be saying, well, they're only running 100 metres. Of course, they can do it a couple of times. But the explosiveness that it takes is massive. And there is a real recovery period after that to be able to put in efforts to this intensity. So for Odie Jordan to be able to produce 2 results of that caliber is really, really encouraging for the rest of the season and for championship racing, of course, where they are competing in pretty close proximity.
Well, Lyles was moving away there. He could probably have kept going for another 100 metres and run a long way under 20 seconds if he'd wanted to. Beautifully symmetrical, powerful sprinter is Lyles. No Lyles being interviewed there for the stadium. And of course, translation going on for the local audience. Run-of-the-mill stuff for Lyles, the 8-time world champion.
Well, the men's javelin competition took place before we came on air earlier on, and here we go. Masevicius with an extraordinary throw. 8.80 in the 6th round. That was his best throw of the day. Saved for last, and that had him sitting in 3rd place. And a pretty solid card as well. All in the high 70s, a couple of 79s before really pulling it out of the bag in round 6.
Well, he earned that final round throw. Mark Anthony Minicello of the USA using 81.10 in the 3rd round. That got him into the final 3. And this was his 6th and final round. 26-year-old American, twice NCAA champion in 2022 and 2024. And that from Minicello was his best throw, and it came again in round 6 for him, just like Matuzovicius of Lithuania producing his best in round 6. So Minicello producing his 81 meters 74 for him. It's only a couple of meters off his lifetime best, which was in Des Moines just 3 weeks ago. 84.11 he threw there. But 81.74 for Minicello. Very, very sound throwing indeed.
Jakub Wadlek, the Czech athlete. Well, his 2nd round throw is best of the day, and there it is, 85.24. You can see his 6th round was a foul. He didn't count that 6th round throw, but he was able to rely on that round 2 to give him the win. Our throws, of course, taking the format of the final 3 in this competition, so that only the top 3 get their 6th round. Wadlek not needing it this time. 3 times Diamond League final winner from 23, 2017 and 2016 as well. And there you have those results confirmed. Wadlek far and away, a good few meters in the lead.
Well, the women's triple jump today won by Romania's Elena Andreea Talos. And the men's high jump, 2 meters 24. Talos, by the way, her winning distance 13 meters 99, coming in the second round from Neja Filipic. And the men's high jump, Shiburi, 224, the same height as Taipei's Fu and Sakai as well on 224.
And the men's 100 meters, of course, Noah Lyles, the big personality, dipping under that 10-second barrier, 9.95, with Tate Taylor coming in second, just a nudge over. But
congratulations.
Listen to Noah now.
Please tell the world how you feel right now.
After quite a few attempts, we finally got the job done. I'm happy with the race. I'm happy with the time. And to be honest, it's a great way to start the season.
Okay, it's been since last September you came to this stadium. How did you feel?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously different because it's not a World Championships. I expected more cheering, but it was still good to be back. Very familiar with this place.
Like you said, athletics season just started, and would you tell us your goal for this year?
The goal is to keep winning and keep having fun.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That's nice. His goal, to keep winning. Keep it simple.
Well, there's no need to overcomplicate things, Tim. I think he's got that pretty spot on.
No, he has indeed. And he said he's really happy with his times, the way his day has gone. Well, it's been a great day in Japan, in the National Stadium. From Rosie Tingard and myself, Tim Hutchings. Bye for now. We'll see you very soon. Bye-bye.
us down, keep us down.
The world awaits the first ever Ultimate Championship.
Let's go, baby!
And a home crowd roaring them on.
The world's best athletes brought together to settle the debate once and for all.
The Ultimate Championship, there's no room for mistakes.
To be Ultimate Champion, that sounds pretty good to me.
This is the greatest we have ever seen.
Call yourself a world champion. Prove that you're the ultimate.
A brand new must-see championship.
There can only be one Ultimate Champion.
What on earth is going on in Budapest?
And the whole world is watching.
See you in Budapest.
Don't miss it.
Just like that, a star is born.
Ain't nobody gonna keep us down, keep us down.
The world awaits the first ever Ultimate Championship.
Let's go, baby!
And a home crowd roaring them on.
The world's best athletes brought together to settle the debate once and for all.
The Ultimate Championship, there's no room for mistakes.
To be Ultimate Champion.